All right, so welcome to tonight's spiritual workout drop-in. I'm just going to close my eyes and focus a little bit more closely on the subject at hand. I invite you to do the same if that's comfortable for you. And I'm not sure exactly how it's going to come out here, but I want to address something that's come up recently and it has come up in the past. And it has to do with the idea that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. That's sort of the first ticket to admission for working in spiritual workout world. The second ticket to admission being affinity with and for the concepts that we work with. But this idea of being a spiritual being having a human experience, what that means, what it doesn't mean, what it means to us here in spiritual workout world, how it relates to primarily two of our concepts. The intentions matter and listen to inspiration. So that's what I want to talk about. The idea that we're spiritual beings having a human experience and how that relates to setting shiny, clear intentions and listening to inspiration. So much of what my intention in spiritual workout has always been and is to, in many ways, demystify what we call spirituality. It's a big, gigantic, loaded word. I chose to call what I do spiritual workout because, frankly, it is what it is. And yet semantics, if you ask me, often enter the conversation and can sometimes just completely derail us. So when we are talking about setting shiny, clear intentions, we are answering the question, what do we want? Now, we talk here a lot about wants that come from our head and our ego versus wants that come from our heart and the being part of the human beings we are. For me, when we are operating in that zone, I'm a spiritual being having a human experience, and we are connected to the being part of the human being that we are. Then our desires, as it were, as they were, our wants are always coming from the heart. And in that way, they are human expressions of who we really are on a soul level. So when I'm connected to who I really am, when I feel like I'm in alignment, when I'm just in a good mood, when I'm thinking about something that I want to be or do or have, and there's excitement with that idea, and there's energy around it, and I feel at one with it, it kind of lights me up, then that is exactly what we are talking about when we are talking about intentions that come from the heart versus an intention that comes from the head. You will, if you gift yourself a few moments to just sit in the intention that is forming, you will feel the difference. It's unmistakable. And so that's where the whole listening to inspiration comes in. So if there's any question that something that you are saying you want to be, do, or have might not be coming from the heart, the way to test that, if you will, is to hold the thought for that intention. I want to live in Paris for a year. And feel what it feels like. in a recent conversation that I was having about this, the person answered that question and gave all of the responses that we'd expect. They said, it feels fun, it feels exciting, it feels adventurous, it feels interesting, it feels, words like that. So in that way, we can test on the spot, if we're doubting it, whether what we're saying that we want to be, do, or have is actually coming from the heart or not. Now, so getting in touch with the intention, the desire, answering the question, what do I want? And then if I'm uncertain about whether or not this is something that I should want, if I'm uncertain about whether or not this is coming from my heart versus my head, then all I have to do is hold that thought, imagine it, oh, there I am living in Paris, and boom, I'm in alignment with it. And that's evidence of the fact that this particular intention is a heart-centered intention. And the last thing that I want to say about that is, because our souls are eternal and mostly live outside of our bodies and have a much greater concentrated experience of all that is than we tend to have in these dense physical bodies, it is from that place of infinity that desires continue to come and to come and to come and to come and to never stop. There's always more, there's always more, there's always more, there's always more. So moving from worry and anxiety about whether or not we are wanting something that perhaps we shouldn't have is definitely worth doing. But once we make that move, once we get in touch with the idea of a desire that's coming from our heart and what that feels like and how we respond just to the idea of it, then when we stay in that lane, we're going to notice that the desires never, ever, 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 ever stop. The only thing that stops them are our own thoughts and ideas and beliefs about what's possible, what's not possible, what's selfish, what's not selfish, and issues and questions like that. So, like I say, this has come up a few times. It always comes up. I just wanted to put that in a little package. I hope it's less confusing than more. Please let me know either way. Take a nice deep breath with me, if you will. And hold on to all the good stuff. Let go of the bad stuff. And let's work out some stuff.